friends. Hello. So, hi. Today, if you didn't see Saturday's video, the Get Ready With Me, first of all, go watch it because I talk about a lot of cool things. And second of all, my hair is pink. I'm filming this at the same time. I just got ready and decided to film. So yeah, today we are going to be doing something called the makeup aesthetic tag. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's kind of a smaller tag that's been running around. I actually had a smaller creator. I can't find her username right now, but I'm going to put it right here on the screen. And I'm also going to link her video down below because she actually tagged me to do this like a couple months ago, and I kind of just forgot about it, if I'm being completely honest. I didn't really think about it. And then today I was trying to think of a video to do, and I was like, the makeup aesthetic tag. I was supposed to do that anyway. Well, if you guys hear yelling or screaming or men yelling, my boyfriend is hosting a campaign of D&D in the next room. So I'm gonna try to not include any of the stuff they say if you can hear it through the walls, but if you can, just don't worry about it. Nothing's happening that's dangerous. They're just playing D&D. So basically we're gonna be doing the makeup aesthetic tag. If you don't know what this is, it's a group, it's a list of questions that basically just talk about makeup. And I like this tag a lot because, and I remember watching it and liking a lot because it really just talks about at the core what makeup is and what your personal aesthetic for makeup is. I feel like there's a lot of tag videos that talk about a lot of different things, but this one just seems very basic to your personal taste in makeup. I'm basically going to tag anyone that wants to do this video. I know a lot of you guys that follow me are small creators who are just starting out, so if you want to do the makeup aesthetic tag, let me know that you did it and I'll share your link and stuff on my Twitter and everything, and I'll make sure people try to go and see it. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. There are 10 questions. I'm going to try not to make this an hour-long video, but I like to talk, so we'll see. The first question is, how would you describe your personal aesthetic or style when it comes to makeup? Whew. I feel like my personal aesthetic or style for makeup is just fall. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like autumn tone colors and warm tone neutrally colors that you could wear on a nice fall day, a mustard colored sweater, is my jam. Anything that is mustardy orangey colors I love for eyeshadows, and for lips I love deep reds and nude lips. I feel like that's more my aesthetic. I also feel like my aesthetic, just face wise, is very much basic glam, if that makes sense. I feel like I love to have very basic looking makeup. It's not too insane, but I also love glitter and love having a full beat. You can tell by my highlight, I like a glowy highlight and all that stuff. So I think it those two things, glitzy kind of chilled makeup while also being very warm toned and very fall vibes, if that makes sense. Yeah. Who or what has influenced your stylistic choices in makeup? I feel like Jaclyn Hill is a really big influence for me for face stuff. I feel like all the face tips I learned from Jaclyn Hill. How to have a really kind of flawless base and how to get my makeup to look really good on my skin. Definitely Jaclyn Hill was a huge influence for that. But I feel like as far as eyeshadow and stuff goes, I don't even know who I would base everything else off of. It's kind of a mix of definitely Kristen Dominique when I was first starting out. She was a huge inspiration. I feel like the Kardashians were weirdly an inspiration. I feel like they were an inspiration for a lot of people. I know Kim K basically started the contouring thing to become more mainstream. But I feel like when I was first starting out, that kind of basic glowy look that the Kardashians do was something I was super into. I really like looking at different Instagram models and kind of trying to see if I can recreate what they did, but in my own way. I feel like in videos, it's kind of hard to recreate whatever a person is doing, specifically actually what they're doing, because everyone's eye shapes are different, everyone's face shape is different. I was contouring wrong for a really long time, and because I was contouring for a narrow face, and I don't have a narrow face. So I think to kind of look at pictures or watch makeup videos other people did, and then instead of trying to completely copy those, draw inspiration from what they're doing, I think that's the best way to go about it. Instead of for me at least, it was not trying to perfectly recreate what other people did, but see what they did and put it to my own technique and do it myself, if that makes sense. What are some of your previous makeup phases? I definitely had that phase where I was too cool for makeup and was like in high school, and I was like, I just don't understand girls who like wake up early and do their makeup. I still don't understand that. I still can't wake up early to do my makeup, but I didn't understand makeup at all in high school, so I just like didn't like it. I definitely had a phase where I was way too tan and bronzed. My face, I thought I needed to be, I literally used a bronzer as a setting powder because nobody said that was wrong. Everybody just assumed I knew what setting meant. I didn't know it meant you couldn't use bronzer. So I definitely went through a phase where like my makeup was way too dark and I wasn't like doing anything correct really. And I also definitely went through a phase of like very like I would like half commit to the routine. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but I would like do a full face of full coverage foundation, but then I wouldn't do any of the dimensions with concealer or contour. I would just bronze. And then I would only put on like a little bit of blush. I was in like a weird phase of like, I knew kind of the basic steps, like what you kind of were supposed to do, but I didn't know the whole story of it. So I was only doing like bits and pieces of other people's makeup routines and putting them together, and the results were not the best, I'm sure. And now I feel like I'm just in a phase of very like, I feel like I'm getting the hang of it, and every day and every time I do my makeup, I'm definitely getting better at what I'm doing. What combination of existing brands would make up your perfect brand? If we're talking my dream eyeshadow palettes, the quality and quantity of Morphe with the kind of formula of Anastasia, this is a dream world we're talking about, with the colors that are kind of Juvia's Place type colors, where it's like neutral colors but also really bright pops of colors that you can do a lot of interesting looks with. I think that would be perfect. Something that has like the ABH formula that I love, the Modern Renaissance formula, but with really bright pops of colors and neutrals and big pans and big palettes for a very reasonable price. If I were to make like a face palette of my favorite brands, it would be Tarte blushes, NARS with like NARS bronzing stuff. Weirdly, Wet n Wild highlighters would probably be included in that mix somewhere. A mix of like Wet n Wild and Ofra highlighters would definitely be in the mix of those if I were to make like a perfect face palette. And then if I were to have a perfect foundation, it would be the full coverage without cakey, which I still have not completely found, but like I'm really working on it. That would probably be my like mix. If I could mix all of those brands to making like a face palette and eyeshadow palette, that's what I would do, 100%. Name 5 products that define your makeup style right now. The Anastasia Dip Brow is 100% number 1 because I've been using that nonstop for the past couple of months. It's definitely like quintessential to how I do my brows. Definitely the Makeup Revolution concealer has been like a staple the past few months. That one I've been using a ton, even on no foundation days, that's the concealer I'll use. I would say the Queen of Hearts eyeshadow palette is definitely represents exactly what I want in an eyeshadow palette always, except maybe cheaper. But the colors and the formula of that are quintessential to like what I am right now. Just like those warm tones, purples and reds, I love. Oh, Milani Luminoso, because I've been using that like every single day. That would definitely be part of my like quintessential style kind of thing. And then I think just any nude lipstick would pretty much, I know that's very vague, but I know I'm supposed to pick like a specific product, but pretty much any of my nude lipsticks would fall into how I would define my makeup style at the moment. Because I feel like right now I'm very much like red and purple eyes, nude lip, really light pretty blush, kind of sharper eyebrows. Like really, I'm not like super into full coverage right now because it's summer. So I feel like that perfectly defines, like if I had to take 5 products with me right now, those are the 5 I would take. Does that make sense? What kind of style or aesthetic do you just wish you could pull off? All of them. No, I'm just kidding. I think really intense cut creases that are like perfectly carved, and also really intense like Instagram brows. Those are 2 things. I feel like I can pull off most other things and like amp them up to a level that's like a little bit more intense. I cannot do Instagram brows. The brows I have now, this is the best I can do for right now. And it also doesn't look good on me. I feel like if I were to do a really intense Instagram brow, I feel like it would look so strange on me. And also just like intense, really big cut creases just don't, my eyes are too crinkly, like they just don't look good on me. And I feel like those are some styles that everybody's rocking lately, and I'm just like, I just like literally cannot pull it off. Like I just can't. I can't do it. Winged eyeliner too is one that I don't think I've ever really looked that good in. Just not my thing. What style are you over? I don't know if this is like necessarily a style, but I definitely were like super expensive makeup just for the sake of being expensive. I feel like for a while I was really intrigued by like expensive bougie makeup that was like $100 or more. Like Tom Ford, Chanel, like I was really intrigued by all that stuff, and now I am just over it. Like I'm just over paying an extreme amount of money for like just makeup. I'm just kind of over that. Not that I won't still buy things that are a little bit more pricey, but it's more just like I'm over the allure that expensive makeup used to have, if that makes sense. Who are some of your favorite makeup artists? Lipstick Nick is probably my #1 favorite. I like watching her do videos because she has like a very similar face shape to me, and I feel like when I watch her videos, she has a very good technique that for my face shape works really, really well. I've learned a lot from watching her do stuff, and also like I wish her tour wasn't so expensive because I definitely would do it just to see her like live and perform it and everything. She's definitely a huge inspiration, and especially because she's like a bigger girl, but she still knows how to like work her face shape really well. And I think when you have a more round face and not really a traditional face, it can be kind of hard to put on makeup like that because there's just no information on how to do it. So to watch her and see how she does her own makeup is really, really awesome. She's definitely my favorite. Do you have any favorite editorial avant-garde makeup looks? I don't do them, but I think Milk Makeup does some of the coolest makeup photos. I'll try to include some pictures. I feel like they do some of the coolest editorial looking makeup that I've ever seen. Like, I genuinely feel like their makeup campaigns are so cool, and they have like really unconventional type people that are modeling it, which is really dope. And it's just like, they're just cool. Like it makes, I don't really like buy their products because I think they're a little overpriced and a little gimmicky, but like looking at their editorial photos makes me want to buy their products. I think their editorial campaigns are spot on, exactly what they should be doing. It's really aesthetically pleasing to look at, and the vibe for it is really great. What is your favorite, this is the last question. What is your favorite time period for makeup and your least favorite? My least favorite is definitely the 2000s, the early 2000s, where everyone was wearing like frosted blue eyeshadow and clumpy like mascara and stuff. I just feel like that look is not a thing anymore that I would ever think to do. And I rocked some of those looks, so I feel like, and like the like frosted eyeshadow was a huge thing and all of that. I feel like that was always not my favorite. That was like, I look back at those pictures and I'm like, like every other thing I can look back on and be like, oh, okay, like I see what they're going for, but the 2000s were just a weird time. Like even just the 90s in general, I feel, I would say now too, because I definitely love how makeup is right now, but I feel like makeup in the 90s, or like early 90s, it was really bare while still being really like pretty and simple. Like it was a lot of just like mascara and like concealer, and that was all they were wearing, and it looked gorgeous on people. Like it looked really, really pretty. So I think makeup of the 90s, just for how simple it was while still being like edgy and cool somehow, I really, really liked that. I think makeup of the 90s was like cool, but I'm not like a 90s, I was born in the 90s, but I wouldn't consider myself a 90s kid because I was born in 95. I will say a lot of my style and a lot of how I like dress, like my chokers, and I wear a lot of flannels and stuff, is really, and like Chuck Taylors and stuff. I do draw a lot of my personal style from the 90s, so I think it makes sense that like my makeup style would be very similar to that. Alright, so that was it. That was the makeup aesthetic tag. I hope you guys like this. Please check out the channels down below that I mentioned who tagged me in this initially, and I'm basically going to tag any small creator that wants to do this because I think this is a really fun tag. It's a lot of fun to talk to you guys about this. Let me know your answers to any of these questions down below. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, I love you guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. I'm honestly just so happy you're here watching me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!